So this video is about the players that 2-0'd their group in the GSL format. So it's basically those who got out by winning 2 straight matches, and by winning in the opening match in the group stage and then beating the other player who won the opening match in the group stage to exit the group and move on to the quarterfinals of KOTD3. So I didn't make a video about the round of 32 or the round of 64 because I don't think those games are particularly interesting. But now we're getting into the real stuff of the tournament. We're getting into the real meat and potatoes of the tournament here. The skill levels are a lot closer, so there's none of these crazy matchups like in round of 64 where you had like a top 5 player against like a bottom, like a top 50 player. So skill matches are getting closer, and the series are getting closer. So that's really what we're getting into now as the tournament progresses, and hopefully some better matches. So let's start with, basically I'm going to go through each group. I'm going to talk about the winner who 2-0'd the group, because now we know them, and try to make a couple points about each player. So first group, Group A, is the Viper, who makes it out 2-0. Is anybody surprised? I don't think no one's surprised by this result. He's clearly the favorite of this group if you look at the rest, which is Dogan, the Max, Bakhti. So he wins his opening match against Bakhti, stomps him 3-1, looks very dominant. I mean, he's winning with Portuguese, which is a save that he seems to like. Goes on to the winner match against the Max, and then he cleans him 3-0. So the Viper is looking super strong again, and basically nothing really much to comment on here. This is par for the course for the Viper making it to the quarterfinals. One thing that's interesting that I want to point out is that in the first two series, he had exactly the same bans as Leary. So he went Mayans, Aztecs for his bans. But in the last series, he banned Turks. So I'd really like to ask him, if I could, why would you ban Turks in that scenario? What was he scared of from the Max? Is he trolling him by the Turks ban? Or I don't know. It seems a little bit funny to me to ban the Turks. Maybe because he wanted to go for that Aztecs pick. So that's why he didn't want to ban the Aztecs. If he wants to pick them, which he didn't win a game with them after. But yeah, that seems like a little bit funny, that wild card ban there. Maybe he just wanted to leave everything open on the table, so he banned a civ that he knew that he didn't really need, or that his opponent wasn't going to pick. So he left everything open for him to then pick into. The Viper strikes me as a player like that who likes to pick into an opponent rather than playing it safe. Rather than like a Hera approach, which is more like playing it safe and picking the civ that you know you're good with. I think that Viper has more of a style of like picking civs to punish the opponent and push them into the comfort zone. So maybe that's what explains that funny Turks ban in that series. But anyway, just a minor note there that he went banned Mezzo, and then Turks. Group B, our boy Hera. This is probably the one that I have the most to say about, is because Hera has basically a permaban now. In the round of 32, his first group stage match and his second group stage match, he's banned Cumans 3 times. So clearly he's not happy with that civ. You could see him complaining about it on this stream. He's clearly, is afraid of the possibilities with that civ on this specific Arabia map. It seems very strong, which it is. It is a strong civ on that map. So he doesn't want to get gimmicked into giving his opponent a free win. So he permabans Cumans, and I'm really interested to see in the quarterfinals or semifinals going forward if he continues with that permaban or he switches up his ban. The positive of always banning Cumans is that it keeps the civ out of Hera's mind. It simplifies the game state, right? So he doesn't have to worry about someone trying to gimmick him with Cumans or having a game plan for V versus Cumans, or wasting one of his picks to counter Cumans, because you need to have a game plan to go against them. So it simplifies sort of the game state of the series itself as a global thing, rather than focusing on individual matches. But the downside to this is that if you think about it, it gives a free pick to the opponent, because if the opponent knows he's gonna ban Cumans, then you basically prepare your first pick against Hera to be whatever civ that you would want, picking into him, and someone like the Viper could go for like a punish pick. So they might meet in the semifinals, Viper and Hera. And if this happens, I wouldn't be surprised if Hera goes for this Cumans ban. I wouldn't be surprised that Viper does a punish pick. So either something like Mezzo, like Aztecs, or Mayans, or Vikings, or even steals Lithuanians from him, because Hera's picked Lithuanians every series now. He likes his Khmer, he likes his Vikings, he likes his Lithuanians. So I think that leaves him exposed to sort of like a punish pick. But like I said, the positive is that it simplifies the game state of the series. So interesting picks going on from Hera there. There's definitely something that bothers him about the Cumans, about the current state of Cumans in the game. So, and one more note about this pick is that as the series go forward and as the skill levels get closer, the matches are probably going to get closer and the series are going to get closer. So we're not going to see as many 3-0s. We're going to see some 3-2s. We're going to see some closer series. So, making a big thing about one pick, about him, banning the Cumans and giving his opponent one free pick, but that one free pick could make the entire difference, right? It could come down to that last civ that you're up against the wall and you got to play with it. And this happened in Red Bull Wallow. We're into a 7-game series. You're down that stretch. You're exhausted. You need to have something that you can rely on. So by giving an opponent that free pick, it might open the door to just giving him like a free win and getting that much closer to victory. So that one pick can make a difference. It's not like it's just something that's trivial there, especially as we're going forward into the tournament. That's the point that I was trying to make about that. Basically, speaking of matches that are getting closer, well, moving on to the next two groups. Basically, so Hera gets out of this group 2-0. And he's off to the quarterfinals where he could then meet the Viper, which is basically his arch nemesis in the semifinals. Very interesting. So, okay, the last two groups which have closer matches is because, again, the skill level is much closer. So if you look at Hera versus Taro, there's a big skill gap there. Or Viper, the Max, big skill gap. But Leary Doubt, that's an interesting match. And I think Doubt being 10th seed is a little bit low for a player of his level in this specific tournament. Only Arabia maps. I think that 10th is a little bit low. So he maybe a little bit benefits from that lower seed in his earlier matchups. But now he's going up against Leary. And that was probably the best series so far of the tournament, maybe. Has awesome play from Doubt. This is amazing play from Doubt with years of experience behind it. And he beats Leary at his own game with that really big aggression in that last. I love that last game. The decider match there where Doubt sort of beats Leary at his own game by doing this aggression, and Leary capitulates to the aggression. So I love that game from Doubt. And maybe a side note here on that Leary versus Doubt game is that Leary, like I said, he did the Viper where he banned Mezzo in the round of 32 in group stage for opening match, but in the group stage second match he bans Khmer. So I'm really wondering about that ban of Khmer in the second group stage match, because he had a win with Khmer in the opening match. So clearly it's a civ that he knows how to play. Clearly it's a civ that he's comfortable with. So I don't know why he would ban it. Maybe he's afraid that Doubt would want to take Khmer because it's a very strong civ. It would give Doubt an eco civ that he could really get behind. But to me it seems a little bit odd, because then when you think about it, he bans Khmer but doesn't pick Mezzo, leaves Doubt with two strong Mezzo picks, Aztecs and Mayans, which opens the path for that comeback. So is that a little bit of a mistake here from Leary to ban Khmer in that series? Maybe if he bans Aztecs, Doubt doesn't get rolling on a comeback and doesn't take it to a 5-game, doesn't push Leary to his Slavs, which is a little bit of a weaker civ compared to his other picks, compared to Lithuanians or Vikings or Franks. So yeah, I think that from my point of view, that's a little bit of a mistake here, is that he could have played something. I think that Mezzo in terms of pick ban is really important in this tournament. Clearly Aztecs are super strong on this map. So yeah, I think you have to play a little bit around that. I expect him in the decider match to beat Nikov, but I'm really looking forward to see what he picks and what his ban is critically for that last series. So, but like I said, this isn't taking away from Doubt. Doubt played amazing, and he beat Leary at his own game in that decider match, which was awesome. But there might have been a little bit of a mistake from Leary on the pick ban there regarding Mezzo civs, opening that door for Doubt. And Doubt's experience, this is the difference between an experienced player and a non-experienced player in a competitive environment. When you give an experienced player that opportunity, they're going to go and seize it. They're not going to choke, and Doubt clearly saw the opportunity. He saw it happening, and he did not choke. It's a little bit maybe of a capitulation from Leary rather than that. So Doubt really embodies an experienced player who sees the opportunity and then seizes the opportunity, right? Because there's identifying the opportunity and then there's seizing it. So he did really good on the execution of seizing that opportunity. When it was 2-2 going into that last game, he really looked like he was in control. So very interesting from Doubt in terms of the experience. You can see the experience shining in there. The last group, the one to 2-0 this group, MBL. And a lot of people are saying this is an upset. A lot of people had Yo as their 2-0. So clearly they were going to meet in the winners match. I don't think there's any other way that this could go. Basically, Yo and MBL both winning their opening series 3-0. That was pretty expected, honestly. So they were clearly going to meet in the winners match. But a lot of people were favoring Yo over MBL simply because of other tournament results, I think, that sort of biased their view of Mr. Yo. I think that, like they mentioned on the stream, you can't underestimate MBL. And you can't discount him because of his poor Red Bull Wallow performances. This is an Arabia-only tournament. I think that MBL is really strong and closer to Mr. Yo's skill than you can imagine. And, I think that MBL really played it smart here and really played the draft smart because he got in. He stole, basically, the way I see it is that he stole a Mezzo Civ from Mr. Yo. He stole Mayans from Mr. Yo. And I think that that's what the decider came down to because obviously Mr. Yo is like Mr. Mezzo, right? Like he's really good in with Mezzo. You saw that in Red Bull Wallow. It's always his favorite picks. He clearly is most comfortable with those. I mean, he got that win with Aztecs. You could always count on him to get a win with Aztecs, basically. So I'm surprised that MBL didn't ban a Mezzo Civ, but then he goes in and picks Mayans and beats Mr. Yo's Incas with the Mayans in the decider match. I think that was really, really strong from MBL, and you could see he sort of beat Mr. Yo at his best. Well, it's not really at his best because it's Incas. It's not the best Mezzo Civ, but I really like that MBL chose a Mezzo Civ and takes it away from Mr. Yo. So that's picking into his opponent. That's being aggressive towards his opponent, and then he uses that later on to counter Mr. Yo's strong mezzo play. So he takes something away from his opponent and then he uses it against him later on in the series. So really smart and tactical choices from MBL in terms of the draft. Really like that. And overall, he's playing awesome. I think that you can expect the quarterfinals performance from MBL. A lot of people are discounting him, but for me, the fluke is Red Bull Wallow, and I think that this is the normal MBL level you should come to expect. Is he's making quarterfinals in an Arabia-only tournament. So those are the four players to highlight who made it out to 2-0 from the group stage. Now we're waiting for the decider matches to be resolved, and then we'll find out who the other four are to make it out of this group stage 2-1. So not a perfect record.